People are doing charity to overcome their guilt, and that is a fact. And any society which does that, which differentiates the education of the rich and the poor, is a morally corrupt society. And put some money in that bhikka jhola and gave me that bag saying that this is your bhikka jhola, go out and beg. I still remember how men, M-E-N, men, mistreated me and did not trust me in my mission. You earn wealth, you earn fame, you earn popularity, you earn power. So all of these things are tests for you. आपने 500 रुपए का बिरयानी का डब्बा खरीदा, उनको वो दे दिया जिस चीज़ को उनको ज़रूरत नहीं थी. So people ask me, what inspired you to start this work? What motivated you to start this work? I say there is no inspiration, there is no motivation, but there is immense pain. Now what is the pain all about? The pain is that it's very difficult for me to see poverty. The very sight of poverty is unbearable for me. So that is where it all started. So how do you end poverty? So if you see any man who is poor, you ask him, are you poor? He would say, yes, I'm poor. Was your father poor? Yes, my father was poor. Was your grandfather poor? Yes, my grandfather was poor. Was his grandfather poor? Yes, his grandfather was also poor. So, and you do not know where this chain of poverty goes and ends. So somebody who's taken charity from my grandfather, his father takes it from my father, and his son takes it from me, and his son would probably take it from my son. So there is no end to poverty. There's only one thing that I think which can end poverty, which is modern contemporary education. You give education and you immediately take out somebody from the vicious cycle of poverty. Now again, now how do you give education? Now even education has its varieties in today's world. So there's education of the rich and education of the poor. So I say education that the clothes of the rich and the poor can be different, the food can be different, the houses can be different, the standard of living can be different, but the books, the institutions, the schools and the colleges cannot be different. And any society which does that, which differentiates the education of the rich and the poor, is a morally corrupt society. And sadly, we are part of that morally corrupt society. I'm on a mission to give education of the rich to the poor. I'm on a mission to bridge the gap between education of the rich and the poor. That is what I'm on a mission. And any society which does that, which differentiates the education of the rich and the poor, is a morally corrupt society. And sadly, we are part of that morally corrupt society. I'm on a mission to give education of the rich to the poor. I'm on a mission to bridge the gap between education of the rich and the poor. That is what I'm on a mission. One of the major hurdles that I faced was my age, I think. I started off too early as per the norms of the current world. I don't think so 19 years old is too early, because if you read the life, the seerah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you would see the majority of the people who participated with him in giving dawah of Islam, and the majority of the people who he trained in his initial days were teenagers. So 19 is not a small age, it's the right age, it's the best age to start off, I think. But that's not how world sees it. So one of the major hurdles was that people thought कि मैं बच्चा हूँ, I'm a kid and I won't be able to do it. And that is still the case, I think, for a lot of people, I think, unless people do not see my work, unless people do not speak to me. So that is one of the major hurdles that I faced. Secondly, I think financial hurdles was there. For any good work, you need finances, you need funds. And people are not ready to channelize their funds. I'm not saying people are not ready to give their funds. People are giving immense fund. There's immense charity that is going on. But charity is not channelized. So I see it in this way. For example, you have 1 lakh rupees or 1 crore rupees and you want to invest that money. How much R&D, how much research would you do before you invest that 1 crore rupees? So it's an investment that you're making of 1 crore rupees, and there's months of research. There's so much brain that you would put into that research to make sure that your investment does not fail. In the same way, when there's a philanthropist, when there's a big man, there's the rich man who wants to donate 1 crore rupees. So that 1 crore is his investment for akhirah. That would end him up in Jannah, that would end him up meeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So why is there no research and development before he does that charity? As a community, we need to channelize our charity. We need to understand where our charity is going. What portion of our charity goes for long-term purpose? What portion of it goes for short-term causes? So this is one of the major hurdles that I think I faced, where there was lack of funds. Number 3, I feel that there is lack of expertise in our community. So we don't find good teachers, we don't find good experts in the field of education, and especially in our community, and especially from the part of India where I come from, East India, the states of Bihar, Jharkhand, Odisha, and West Bengal, and Assam also. So there is lack of expertise. So these are three, I think, major hurdles that I faced in my journey. In my distant memory, what I can recall is that the first person that I spoke to was my mother. I was just 18 then when I walked up to my mother and I said, "Mummy, aisa kuch karna hai." So my mother didn't say don't do it. She didn't say why you want to do it. So she took some time, few hours, and then she came back with 50,000 rupees and she gave it to me back in 2018. This was February 2018, I think. Second person who I contacted was my mentor, Miss Ghazal Khan. She's a life coach. So I went to her with my idea and she supported me. She supported me in the best possible way. She gave me a Ziploc bag, and on that Ziploc bag she wrote orphanage, because initially I wanted to adopt orphans. She wrote that day's date, which was 27th February 2018, and she wrote Bheek Ka Jhola on that bag. Bheek Ka Jhola on that bag. And she put her hand in her bag and put some money in that Bheek Ka Jhola and gave me that bag, saying that this is your Bheek Ka Jhola. Go out and beg. That day and this day, I don't say I raise charity, I say I am asking for alms. मैं भीख मांगता हूँ. Yeah, my first investment was done by my mother. Investment for her akhirah. For me, it was bheek. How was me? The experience is similar even today. So initially it was more difficult for me because I was a kid. I think I was looked at as a kid. I was 19. I was thin. I had no beard on my face. I had no cap. Now I look mature. I try to look mature so that my work gets easy. But back then, I still remember how men, men, mistreated me and did not trust me in my mission. Initial supporters were all women. I still remember that woman who gave me her ring, her gold ring, and she said, "This is all I have. I don't earn, my husband earns." I still remember that 70 years old woman who gave me 5 lakh rupees as a loan. I still remember my household help who gave me 500 rupees as charity when she heard that this is what I wanted to do. I still remember that young girl who supported me in getting young girls who went with me to the slums and get young girls for my cause, so that I could teach the young girls, young children who were girls. So initially women trusted me, women supported me, but men, of course, now they are supporting me, but initially men did not trust me. So I shall ever be in debt to those women who supported me. And trusted me in what I wanted to do, alhamdulillah. But nevertheless, men are more in number today. But down the line, that the number of men is increasing. But initially, women supported me. In life, you earn certain things, and you earn wealth, you earn fame, you earn popularity, you earn power. So all of these things are tests for you. So how do you use your wealth is the question. How do you use your power is the question. How do you use your fame? How do you use your popularity? All of these is the question. So I just used my fame and popularity in the right way. I had 1 million people following me on social media. I just asked my people who love me, to give me 100 rupees each. Alhamdulillah, that channelized. I was able to strike the right chord, and alhamdulillah, I was able to raise 7 crore in 7 days. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. I've been running the school for the past 6 years now. This is not a new thing that I'm doing. I've been into research and development, trying to work on these children for the past 6 years, and nobody knew about my school. When I've made the video, people thought that now I'm trying to start the school. That's not the case. I've been running this school for the past 6 years, and I started in 2018 with 3 kids and myself alone in a 1,000 square feet apartment. That is where and that is how I started, with limited funds, just few 1,000 rupees in my hand, and that is how I started. So these kids are majorly orphans, destitute kids who are 90% of my kids are below the poverty line. Their parents do not even earn more than 6,000, 7,000, or maximum 9,000 rupees a month, I think. Majority of them do not have a pakka house to live in, do not have a pakka chat on their head, pakka roof on their head. So these are the kind of children that I'm working with and trying to give them quality education. Yeah, of course, education is not static, it is ever evolving. And of course, in today's time when we are dealing with alpha generation, we need to take certain measures and we need to ensure that education which is need of the hour, that education is given. So one of the major thing that I feel which is important today is information is on the tip of our finger. So giving information. So just 10 years back, information is all what was important today. So in today's time, information is not important. Information is there. Any child, I mean, 10 years down the line, somebody was, I mean, to test a child, how smart or how intelligent he is, you would ask the child, when was the First World War? If the child was able to answer, the child is intelligent. But today, if you ask a child when was the First World War, no child will be able to answer. What he will do is he'll pick up his phone and he'll just Google when was the First World War. So that is not the test. Today is the generation, the era of innovation. Are we teaching our kids critical thinking, creative ways of innovating new things? So I think this is an era of innovation. Are we trying to teach our kids to innovate new things? So I think that is where all educationists should focus, that are we training our kids to become innovators or not? If yes, well and good. If no, then we are behind in the race then. Yeah, of course, it's a very painful situation how Muslims have been spending lavishly, especially on their marriages, especially and when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said every man of my ummah is our brothers. So a man who's a king and a man who's a beggar, a man who's blue, a man who's white, a man who's black, a man who's green, a man who stays in South India, a man who stays in North India, a man who stays in America, a man who stays in some slum in India. All of us are an ummah, are brothers. So it is very important that we understand that our money is not our money. It is a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A portion of my money belongs to those who do not have money. So this is a concept, and I think we need to understand. And there's another very important philosophy that which I think is very important for us to understand, which suddenly came in my mind, which I think is the philosophy of self-gratification. Now, what is that? For example, majority of the community is doing charity to overcome their guilt. Now, how does that happen? And this might pinch a lot of people, or I think I should not mention that, but now that I've started it, let me mention it. So, majority of the people in my community are giving donations to overcome their guilt. Now, how does that happen? Because they are living a very lavish life. So, how do they overcome their guilt when they say poor people? So, I'll give you an example. Let me take it on myself. I'll take it on myself so that nobody's hurt. So, I go to a 5-star hotel with my family and friends, and I eat dinner, and I have dinner. So, what is the bill that I'll have to pay? Minimum of 7,000 rupees, I think, or 8,000 rupees if there are 3 couples, me and there are 2 more couples, my wife, my friends and their wives. So, a minimum of 8,000 rupees is what I pay at a 5-star hotel for one night dinner, for one time dinner. So, I pay that bill, I go out of the hotel, of the restaurant, and I sit in my car, and when my driver drops me back home, he says, Sahab ji, mahine ka pagar nahi mila. I haven't got the salary for the month. You say, how much is it? He said, sab kuch mila ke, extra time mila ke 9,000 rupees, ya 10,000 rupees. The moment you're giving him that 10,000 rupees, you realize, is this the amount in which he's going to spend his entire month? This is exactly the amount that I've spent in just one dinner. What do you do then? You immediately go to your house, pack a box of biryani, because you just had a box of biryani at a restaurant, and you give it to the driver and say, apni betiyon ko de dena. So you did not do charity for the driver. You did it for your self-gratification, to come out of your guilt. If you could have asked the driver what does he need, he would have told you कि मुझे 500 रुपए की ज़रूरत है मेरे बच्चों की फीस भरने के लिए. But he did not do that. आपने 500 रुपए का बिरयानी का डब्बा खरीदा, उनको वो दे दिया जिस चीज़ को उनको ज़रूरत नहीं थी. तो चैरिटी हमारी उन चीज़ों की चल रही है जिन चीज़ों की लोगों को ज़रूरत नहीं है. People are doing charity to overcome their guilt, and that is a fact. So charity should not be done to overcome your guilt. It should be done in a channelized way. Charity, so there's this poem that I read in my school days, I remember. Love me for love's sake. There was this poem, I don't remember the poet. So I say do charity for charity's sake and not for overcoming your guilt and for self-gratification. Sorry if that hurts, but that's the reality. People can go to my website, can check my website, can check my work. My website, I have a very transparent website. It's umeed.org.in. If you just Google Umeed Academy, UMEED Academy, the first thing that will come up on the Google is my website, umeed.org.in. You can go, you can check my work, you can donate there, inshallah.